Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode of Coach's Corner. I'm the host, Rick Russell, and as always, that's your head coach, Jonathan Calder. Tonight, we're going to discuss tomorrow night's opponent, the 7-0 Barnesville Shamrocks. We're going to touch base on last week's win against Shenandoah, and we'll also be joined by a couple of Seminole football players this evening, Max Demchek and Ashton Lumbass. So, Coach, great win last night, 7-0, or excuse me, last week, we're 7-0 now. So, great performance defensively, had a couple of defensive touchdowns. Offense was kind of strange at times. Didn't know what to take of that. But anyway, Coach, another victory, another shout out to really a very good Shenandoah team, even though their record doesn't indicate it. That Braxton Barnett kid, quarterback number 2, is the real deal. And we wish him nothing but the best because he did get injured that evening. And I'd heard that, he did go to the hospital after the game. So wish that kid the best of luck.
We came into. I thought our kids were ready to go. They didn't seem flat to me. They seemed like they were ready to go. But you're right about the offense. It was kind of like just anything bad that could happen. Kind of did a couple of times. We start off we get out there. We get 2 false starts. So it turned into 1st and 20. Just dropping balls easy balls. Just little things like that, missing one or 2 blocks that could spring a run for long runs. It wasn't our usual offense, I can tell you that much, which was very frustrating to me. We only ran for 76 yards or 74 yards, which usually we're rushing 200-300 yards a game. So that was pretty frustrating. But I thought Shenandoah had a pretty good game plan actually for our run game. And that's what I wanted to do going into the game, was run the ball. We did move. We had a couple of decent drives. But really the defense, like you mentioned, the defense is what kept us in that game in the beginning. Holden, and you mentioned Barnett. What a special kid. Just amazing player. We would have him hemmed in, 3 or 4 guys in front. He would kind of step up and then just hurry back out and out around the end. He was something, but yeah, we offensively we only had 254 total yards. We had 74 yards rushing, and we did have 180 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. That's kind of how we moved the ball. And it was a lot of shorter throws, really bubbles and things like that. Cooper Howe was the leading rusher and receiver. He had 5 receptions for 48 yards and 4 rushes for 50 yards. And then Max Demchek, who will be on the show later, had 2 catches for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. Defensively, they ran 62 plays, so they pretty much doubled up our plays. But they only had 221 yards. So it's not a lot per play. We kind of held them. They would have some drives here and there, and then we'd shut them down. But really, defensively, is where we were in their backfield all night. Running in, and when they dropped back to pass, we had 18 tackles for a loss and 8 sacks, that's a lot. So it was good to see. Not that our defense, we've had shutouts and stuff, but they just kind of stepped up, made big play after big play. Like you mentioned, we had some fumble recoveries. We had 1 fumble recovery, went back for a touchdown. Couple interceptions, 3 interceptions, I think. 1 of those went back for a touchdown. So defensively, we really stepped up, had a big game. Also, I thought special teams looked great. Wyatt's just getting better and better. We don't talk about him much on the show, but Wyatt Cullen, getting better and better every week on kickoffs. He had another touchback and a couple tackles inside the 20, our guys getting down the field. So overall, not so good on offense, but it was great to see the defense step up and make so many plays. And then you mentioned Barnett getting hurt, and I feel the same way. I wish the kid luck. I hope it's nothing too serious. Hopefully he can get back playing if he can. You never want to see a kid get hurt on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it speaks volumes for our defense, Coach. And this isn't the first time this has happened where teams run twice as many plays offensively than we do. And for them to run 60+ plays and not score a touchdown speaks volumes. And And let me touch on Wyatt just a second. You know, last year early in the season before Walden arrived, we kind of struggled to find that kicker.
Yeah.
And it's a game changer when you can try to kick off into the end zone, or, you know, down to the 5 or the 10 and get a tackle at the 20. You know,
It sure is.
Essentially, you know, a few times last year early in the season, you know, they were starting on their 40 or 45. You know, we've already given them 3 first downs and hadn't ran a play yet. You know,
Right.
so, but yeah, you're exactly right. Wyatt doesn't get the notice that he deserves,
Yeah.
and he's done a wonderful job. He just keeps getting better.
He does.
You know, there were a few games where he missed consecutive extra points, and you know, here lately he's been drilling right down the middle. So
That's right.
when we return, we'll sit down and talk with our first guest of the evening, Max Demchek. We're back with our first guest this evening, Max Demchek. Max, how's the golf game, buddy?
It's pretty good, and I've been working on it over the summer, but
I just talked to Ashton there a second ago, said he can out-drive you. Is there any truth to that?
no,
No?
no truth at all.
I believe you, not Ashton. How about the farm? You know, we talked to Coach about the kids working on the farm, Raider and Farnsworth, and I know you live on a farm because 30 years ago I was out there throwing square bills up for Steve and Dixie. So how many square bills you put in this year?
Well, we haven't put any in this year, but last year we put up about 400, I'd say, and we've been picking up a whole bunch of cows to the fair, and, you know, starting a whole nother farm, basically.
Good deal, man. Yeah, a lot of memories made out there, a ton of memories, sure. Steve, I know you're watching, so if you need a little help with square bills, me and Coach will be out next summer. We need to get back in shape.
Maybe we'll send some kids out there.
Yeah. Anyway, Max, welcome to the show, buddy. Congratulations on a 7-0 start to a fantastic season thus far. You've been a major contributor, offense, defense, and special teams, and you know, you're not a very big guy by no means, but you play with a lot of heart, and you have this sense of fearlessness in you when you're back there fielding the punt, you know, and you know these kids are coming, you know, I have a question to ask you about, you know, no fair catches, but you know, I talked to Coach earlier this summer and asked him if there were any surprises and how things were going when you guys were on the 7-on-7s scrimmages, and he mentioned you. He said that, you know, you've really grown and you really look good at the receiver position. So explain to us what took place with your growth, and was it, you know, your experience, you know, since you've been in the system for a year and you're more confident, of course?
I would just say through experience, definitely, and playing on the scout team and practices, learn the playbook, and just what to do and when to do it. Just trusting my coaches.
So like I just mentioned, I don't think I've ever seen you fair catch a ball, and if you have, I've missed it. And so, and like I said, you know that team's coming. And you just play with a sense of fearlessness, like I said. And even last week against Shenandoah, you know, you came over the middle and Tucker laid the pass out to you, and really all I seen was the 2 defenders and the field goal post. And I thought, he's going to get hit by one of those 3. You know what I mean? But, you know, you stayed focused, you caught the ball, and a fantastic catch in traffic. So explain these types of plays. You know, that catch, for example, and your punt returns, your kickoff returns, and why you're so confident out there on the field.
Well, I would say for special teams with punts and kick returns, I would say I just want the ball in my hands, and I just think I can do something with it, make something happen, give our offense good chances scoring on that drive. And then on offense, obviously it's my job as a receiver just to catch the ball and, you know, go score, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you look at, you know, the catches you have during your game and your punt returns and your kickoff returns, you know, you touch the ball just as often as Cooper or Chance or any of those guys, any of those other weapons. So you're a big contributor. So let's talk about your performance last Friday night. You had 2 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. And then on the season, I got your stats here. You've had 4 punt returns for 99 yards. That's a 24.8 yard average. And you've also had 2 kickoff returns for close to 31 yards for the season. But tell us about about that play in particular last Friday night and your overall performance?
Well, that play, I'd just say, Coach said it was going to be wide open, and obviously it was. And I saw the ball, and I know you're not supposed to look down and see the defender coming, but I did look down a couple times. I didn't see him, but I just knew I had to catch it and make a play on it.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah, like I said, I thought, well, he's going to get whacked here either by one of those two defenders or that field post for certain. Prior to us filming Coach's Corner a couple weeks ago, and I walked outside and I seen you, and matter of fact, you were driving, and Tucker or Cooper and Chance were with you, and I know you've grown really close to Coop and Chance and Tucker. Explain to me how those guys, Chance doesn't have the football experience that Cooper and Tucker has, but explain how those guys have helped you with your growth and development as a player this season, because I've really noticed it. Coach mentioned it over the summer, and I've kept my eye on them, and I've really noticed how much you've grown and how much you've been contributing and helping this football team compared to last.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, they're actually who convinced me to play football in the first place, and our chemistry off the field just translates to on the field, and I just know what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, basically. So it just creates just like a bond. It just works out.
And then once we finish up here, you move on to basketball season to play with those guys. So yeah, so Tucker and Coop, thanks for talking him into playing, because he's been a very big help. As small as he is, Coach, he just flies around the football field. And the few times that you've escaped and you've come down that sideline, I mean, this kid's got some wheels.
Sure does.
So Max, we all know the significance of tomorrow night's football game. We're playing a very, very good Barnesville team. Could be one of the best teams in the Valley for sure. I think they're putting up, I had the numbers up, I think they're putting up over 50 points a game, 56 points a game, I think, and giving up just over 5 points a game. The last 3 games they played have been shutouts. They're a really good football team, but so are we. And we know what they did to us over there last year, and I've mentioned this in previous episodes. We've talked about unfinished business, and that's the motto of this football team. And that's one loss from last year that we have to redeem ourselves this year. So, I know we'll be ready. We're going to play with them for certain, and we're one hell of a good football team as well. So, what can we expect from us tomorrow night in order to come out here with a win?
You can just expect everyone on the team to come with a lot of energy and just to trust the coaches and what they're telling us to do on offense and defense and special teams, and just punch them in the mouth. Yeah.
Like Coach and I talked earlier, this place is going to be a sight that none of you guys have ever seen before in your life, I can promise you that. I walked off the field at Shenandoah, and their chain gang said, "Hey, we'll see you next week." And I'm like, okay, but they're coming here Friday night, tomorrow night, to watch this football game. And Barnesville's going to bring, they're 7-0 as well. They're going to bring a great crowd. They've always got a good following. And with us being 7-0, our community's going to be behind us too. So there's going to be fans here. It's going to be standing room only. Jokingly, we were outside talking with another individual about having some bleachers delivered in. You know what I mean? So. It's going to be quite the scene, and it's going to be a great experience for every one of you guys. You guys have busted your tails to get to this point, and you deserve every bit of it. Coach, you got anything to add?
Yeah, he mentioned that they talked him into playing. I never even knew. We've talked about a couple of kids on this show about being a surprise, coming out. He was definitely surprised because I hadn't heard his name in the mention of him even playing. So his freshman year when he was at sign-ups, it was a pleasant surprise because I knew he was an athlete from other people telling me that. So when he came out, I didn't know what to expect. But right away, Coach Hooper, he'd always say he had a little dog in him. He'd always say Max had a little dog in him. But you can tell right away. He's not afraid to hit people, not afraid to take hits. He doesn't get down there. Sometimes I wish he'd kind of run out of bounds because he's not a big kid, but he's definitely not afraid of contact. Which you love to see, especially on a smaller kid. But the thing is, you got to get a hold of him first. He's very elusive with the ball in his hands, and we saw that last year. So this year, I really wanted him to, you know, get more work at wide receiver, and he slowly, you can just see him transitioning into getting more reps on Friday night. We put him at punt return because of, first, he's got great hands, and second, he's hard to catch, hard to hit. You know, he's very elusive, and like you mentioned, no fair catches, and I'm sure he can tell you one reason why is because, like he said, he wants the ball. So that's his chance that he knows if I catch this, I can do something with it. I can help the team out. But yeah, what you've seen over the past few weeks, just getting more reps, and I look forward to kind of as the year goes on, getting more reps. You know, he's great hands, he runs good routes, and on defense, plays great defense. He's been playing a little JV this year, so he could get, you know, the more reps on defense. He's definitely a pleasant surprise. And yeah, I'm glad Coop and Tucker talked him into going out. There's no doubt about that, man.
What was that? What was the game that he had that over the shoulder?
Interception? That was probably one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Right here on our sidelines.
Yeah.
What game? I don't even know what game. Magnolia. That was a one-hander, stuck it out, brought it in.
He had an over the shoulder punt return too, I believe. Maybe it was like Belpre.
Oh yeah. No, he's going to be a special player for us, I think, for the next couple of years, and contribute for the rest of the year this year. And we'll see him get more catches, more routes. He's fun to watch. Fun to watch.
Yeah. Like we talked to Max in previous episodes, you know, there's a lot of talent out there with Tucker and Cooper, and Corbin's surprisingly good, you know, for not playing high school football. And then, of course, you throw yourself into the mix with Logan, and there's a lot of talent out there, but the problem is there's only one football to go around. So, you know, we talk a lot about, we preach a lot about everybody having patience, you know, everybody having patience. You'll get your turn, and you definitely got your turn here this season. So that's all we got for you, buddy. So we appreciate you taking the time out of your evening and spending it with us. Wish you nothing but the best of luck tomorrow night against the Shamrocks, and for the remainder of the season. You know, we still have a long season to go, and we don't intend on stopping at 10 games. We want to continue to play into the playoffs. So wish you the best of luck, buddy. Stay healthy, and have a good night. Thank you. We'll be right back with our second guest of the evening, Ashton Lumbass. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We're here with our second guest of the evening, Ashton Lumbass. How many miles you got on that four-wheeler, Ashton?
About 3,000 now.
3,000. How long you had it?
5 or 6 months.
Done more than tires clear off of that.
Just put a second set on last week.
Jeez.
He's a four-wheeler riding fool. You can't miss him when he comes out the ridge.
No.
Golf game. How's the golf game? Because I just talked to Max, so I got the true answer to your golf game. How is it?
It ain't the best, but it ain't there.
Can you outride me?
Sometimes.
Okay, that's what he said.
Not always.
Oh, he said always.
Yeah.
Anyway, you two can take that.
I don't do that.
All right, buddy, let's dive into this. So, I know you love to pull and to get outside, and we actually kind of jokingly sit around on Friday nights and, you know, be like, hey, did you see that block? And it's usually like 130, 140 pound corner that the first guy you meet when you come around the corner there. So it's kind of the patent, one hand, sometimes two, push them out of bounds, and they roll 5 or 6 times, slam up against the fence. As a matter of fact, when we played Bridgeport out here, I was on like the 20-yard line, and you come around the corner, and little kid playing corner, and I was actually on the sidelines writing down some stats, and he rolled by me, and I turned around and then kept writing, and he ran back by me, and he said, damn, that kid's big. So tell us about some of those plays and why you like to get outside.
Well, I just feel like it's easier to get outside instead of pulling them through the line and get moving a little faster and find someone quicker to block for my teammates or when we run upfield and hopefully scoring.
Yeah, there's a lot of times when you do that, AJ's got a hold of your 77 on the back of your jersey, right in the tail there,
Heck, yeah.
paving the way. So, we've had a lot of great individual and team performances this year on the ground. Tucker's had some very big games. AJ had a very big game. A couple weeks ago, Evan had a giant game. And like this week, or last week against Shenandoah, we didn't do terrible by no means, but, the ball was spread out to Cooper and to AJ, and Tucker had a few runs. But, with the exception of losing a tight end from last year in Landon Leidig, and Corbin stepped in and filled that role wonderfully, this entire line's back, so there's a lot of experience. So has that experience and growth helped you guys improve this year? Because, we've been dominant in several games offensively.
I feel like it has, because we got two seniors leading the line on the right side, Billy at guard and Andrew at tackle, and then we got Seif returning, he's a junior. We got Tyler as a senior at guard, we got me at tackle. Corbin's tight end. Corbin, he's a first-year player, and he's been doing a pretty good of a job blocking and hooking people.
Yeah.
The experience is there.
Yeah, well, you guys have had some tremendous performances, short of making a few mistakes in week 1 against Belper, we had some penalties, but, we expect that in week 1, first week out on a playing field, a real game, but the improvement's there, and we'll definitely need that tomorrow night against Barnesville. So let's talk about defense, particularly you, because of your size and your strength and your experience and your football knowledge. You get doubled quite often, and all that really does is free someone else up. You still, it's like when you really want to give 100%, you can push those two blockers back and get to the ball very, very easily. And so, we had several CBLs last night, or last week, and Coach, I kept the defense, and there were 4 or 5 guys on a tackle behind the line. I tried to, could be why it looked like there were so many, because I wanted to include
There's a bunch.
everybody.
I think there's 18.
Everybody wants a sticker, Coach. I don't want to leave
Oh, they do.
So, but anyway, there were several CBLs last week, and we had our way with their offensive line, and we'll talk about this. But you kind of got under the skin of one of them, but we'll get to that. But so we had them frustrated. And we returned a fumble for a touchdown. We returned an interception for a touchdown, and we've got three shutouts now. I don't think a lot of people realize how good this defense really is, and we'll talk about Barnesville here in a bit, but they're giving up like 5.2 points a game, and our defense is giving up 7.1, I believe, points a game. So, explain the overall performance of the defense last Friday night.
Well, we started out the game a little slow, and then picked it up as things went on, and then our secondary really had to step it up there because he was making easy passes to get first downs. And then we started getting interceptions, forcing fumbles, and getting big sixes and returning fumbles for touchdowns. And we have the knowledge to do that. So.
Yeah. Now we won't dive in too deep to this next question, but when I looked up and seen a helmet, not knowing it was yours, rolling 30 yards down the field, and then just seconds later I seen a green helmet heading down the field as well. And I know you get caught up in the games and you want to be there for your team, but kudos to you for not allowing that to escalate any further, because it could have gotten out of hand for certain. But I'm sure that you had tomorrow night on your mind. You don't want to get kicked out of the football game, because then you're not going to be able to play the following game. But I'm sure that your coaches have taught you patience, and I actually went over, when you came off the sideline, I went over to have a little chat with you, but Coach Sherman had already beat me to you to explain to you, hey, do the right thing here for your team. So, I'm sure the coaches have had a lot to do with controlling your emotion and being disciplined in times like that. Correct?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. I know, like, you know, when I played, things kind of got heated at times too, and, you know, we were always taught just to kind of walk away, do the right thing, but, you know, in the heat of the moment,
It's tough.
that's tough.
It is
That's
tough.
very, very tough. But once again, man, kudos for not allowing that to escalate any further, you know. Not that it would have gotten this far, but I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, and it just brought back memories of the Mason Rudolph and
Yeah.
Myles Garrett. So, and that's bad because my Cleveland Browns are bad, very, very bad.
They're bad.
So Ashton, let's talk about tomorrow night, buddy. Two of the best teams in the valley play here out on this field. Both teams coming in at 7-0, look to square off tomorrow. Just like us, they're loaded with a lot of talent. And this Tolliver kid is the real deal. He runs extremely hard, extremely hard. When he spent time in the weight room, his thighs are the size of this table. So, you know, he's not one that you're going to grab hold of the shoulder pads and bring you down. If you do that, I think he'll take you right down the field with you. So, anyway, what are we going to have to do defensively as a team to slow this Shamrocks team down?
Defensively, we're gonna have to make sure we wrap up and hit them hard and hit them low. If someone's got them up high, we're gonna have to go low and try and take them out. And then offensively, we're gonna have to play a perfect game. We can't be getting penalties and getting losses on plays we shouldn't be, because that's just gonna lose us the ball game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because, you know, they're only giving up 5 points a game, so points are going to be hard to get tomorrow night. We have to execute perfectly and don't get ourselves in any trouble making mental mistakes and penalties. That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Coach, do you have anything to add on Ashton?
Yeah, you know, I've talked about a few kids on here being surprises coming out. Well, Ashton wasn't surprised. I've been hearing about Ashton, you know, for a long time, you know, what kind of football player he could be and things like that. So, I knew what kind of player he could be. Never really saw him play some junior high and things like that. He came in his freshman year, and I thought, well, he might get a play a little bit as a freshman. I wasn't too sure. But actually, he didn't get cleared right away, so we had some issues here, and he didn't really practice as a freshman much at all, like conditioning, things like that. So at first, he wasn't in the starting lineup. Well, it didn't take maybe a week or two, and he was right in there and looked like a damn senior out there for the most part. You know, I mean, offensive line wise, you know, him blocking down, we call it pancake block. You know, when you drive a guy on the ground, well, you know, most weeks he has at least 2 or 3 or 4 of those a week, sometime even more. But yeah, he got better and better as his freshman year went, and then, you know, coming into this year, he became kind of a leader on offense, really, on the offensive line. And like he said, it's great that he's got to play with Bill and Pick and even Whitaker on the line, because those guys, they're true leaders in the line, and they've kind of developed him into that role. But really, just a big kid that moves well, strong as could be. When you, like you said, when he wants to on defense, he's unstoppable. He needs to maybe get a tiny little bit better shape next year. You know what I mean? Like, there's plays, I wouldn't say he takes play off. I think he just gets a little bit tired, so he's got to get a little bit of shape. But when he goes full go, there's no one that can stop him. There's no one that can stop him on defense when he's on defense. So, and you mentioned him pulling. That was kind of my plan all summer. I thought, man, if I can get Ashton pull around the end, either get him on a corner, safety, or even a linebacker. I mean, they're probably going to run the opposite way. And we've had some kids that kind of turn and run the opposite way out of his direction. So I love watching him pull around the end. Great kid in the locker room, has a good sense of humor. But I really look forward to him. It's crazy he's just a sophomore, really. You know, we got 2 more years out of him. So I hope he can dedicate himself really to the weight room. And I told people last year that I really think he can walk out of this field house after 4 years and be the best player to ever go through here. I really believe that. But he's got to put the work in. He's got to put the work in and be there. So I look forward to the next couple of years, seeing what he can do. Obviously, look forward to this year first, making big plays for us on defense and pancaking some kids on offense. Right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Coach, I'm probably, Ashton, well, I know, Ashton is the closest kid on this football team to me. You know, I watched this kid grow up, and
Right.
now he lives in Louisville, and, you know, I can expect Ashton in the summertime to come visit me 2, 3, 4 nights a week. You know, I hear that four-wheeler coming, he sees my garage lights on, and here he comes. But, you know, I was putting together my daughter's vanity there a couple months ago, and I was just about ready to pitch the entire thing out in the yard. And here comes Ashton. My patience is worn. He gets off the four-wheeler. What are you doing, Wick? I said, I'm trying to put this damn vanity together. He said, how do I do it? So, you know, he took over and gave me a little break, let me regain my composure. But
Get the younger kids.
yeah. But anyway, I'm probably Ashton's biggest critic too. So, you know, there's been numerous times that I've walked up to him on the sidelines and, you know, told him what he needs to do or what I think he needs to do. And, you know, so I think he knows that I'm there and kind of looking over his shoulder, and I'm watching him because I know what this kid's capable of.
The potential is sky high. Like the potential is sky high.
Yeah, he's just got to remain focused and put the time in and do the right things, you know, in the weight room. You know, I mean, when he drops back in the pass protection, it looks like he's been doing it for 20 years, you know. It's really a beautiful sight to see, you know, how he plays at the tackle position. So, all right, Ashton, well, wish you the best of luck, buddy, tomorrow night and the remainder of the season too. Like I told Max, you know, we've got a long way to go. We're not going to finish at game 10. We don't expect to finish at game 10. So, and tomorrow night's football game can go a long, long way. And where we end up come week 1 of the playoffs, it would be a giant help, you know, make or break, possibly home field. And, you know, winning this game here would definitely give us that right, without a doubt. So, once again, buddy, thank you. Continue to work hard, stay focused, and be a leader out there.
All right, thank you for having me on.
Yes, sir, buddy. We'll be right back with some highlights from last week's Shenandoah game. Tucker Howe with an interception in the end zone.
We flush Barnett out of the pocket, and Tucker makes a nice catch for an interception.
Cooper Howe with a nice pickup on the ground.
Cooper does a good job of breaking some tackles for a long gain.
Tucker Howe with a run off left tackle.
We run a counter, and Tucker picks up some nice yards.
Corbin Farnsworth with a long 39-yard reception.
Tucker extends the play and finds Corbin across the middle for a long pass reception.
A.J. Rudder punches it in.
A.J. runs hard and gets it over the goal line.
Ethan Gillespie with a great tackle for a loss.
Ethan hits his gap and gets a nice tackle in the backfield.
Cooper Howe with a nice gain of 13 yards.
We get some nice blocks from Corbin and Logan, allowing for the long gain.
A quick pass to Chance Allen.
Chance grabs the quick pass and picks up some yards after the catch.
A.J. Rudder with a quarterback sack.
A.J. blitzes from his linebacker position and gets the sack.
Tyler Whitaker with some great pressure.
We get great pressure from the defensive line, and Tyler finds his way to the quarterback.
Cooper Howe with a long punt return.
Cooper does a good job of following his blocks and getting the 20-yard return.
Tucker Howe to Max Demchek for 15 yards.
Tucker does a good job of reading the defense and hitting Max for a nice gain.
Tucker Howe with the interception.
Tucker reads the quarterback and jumps the post route.
Tucker Howe to Chance Allen for a seminal touchdown.
We have a great fake in the backfield, and Chance is wide open in the end zone.
Tyler Whitaker with another quarterback sack.
Once again, great pressure from the line, and Whitaker finds his way to the quarterback.
Tyler Whitaker causes the fumble when Braden Snipper jumps on the loose ball.
Both players with great hustle, allowing us to get the turnover.
Max Demchek with a 29-yard touchdown reception.
Max is wide open down the seam and does a good job holding on the ball for the Seminole touchdown.
Clint Rader with a quarterback sack.
Clint has great hustle around the edge and gets the big loss.
Cooper Howe with the strip and Tucker Howe with the fumble return for a touchdown.
Great job by both players and great blocks after the recovery.
Cooper Howe with the interception.
Cooper does a great job of reading the quarterback and making the pick.
Tyler Whitaker with the pick six.
Tyler does a great job of reading the screen, jumping the throw, and taking it back for 6.
Ashton Lumbatis with a tackle for a loss.
Ashton does a nice job getting off his block and finding the ball.
A.J. Rudder with a sack on the quarterback.
AJ blitzes off the edge and gets the sack.
A host of Seminoles with the loss.
Great push up front, allowing us to get the tackle in the backfield.
When we return, we will preview this week's opponent, the 7-0 Barnesville Shamrocks. Welcome back, everyone. Coach, week 8,
Yeah.
7-0. Fantastic win last week, and this team tomorrow night is one of the best that we've seen for certain. Probably the best we've seen for certain.
Oh,
The best in the valley. They made a strong run in the playoffs last year, and they lost some skilled players in Starr and Duke Costello, but at Barnesville, they just seem to rebuild every year. They've got the players, they've got the numbers, they've got the athletes. So it's just plug the next person in. And you and I talked before the show that Tayson Starr was one heck of a running back, and this Tolliver kid he's a big kid, hard-nosed kid, and he's young. So he's going to be around for a couple more years. He's got a bright future at Barnesville. But anyway, take nothing away from what we've done, though, too, Coach. I mean, we're 7-0 as well. So battle the unbeatens here tomorrow night. This place is going to be packed.
It sure is, yeah. Like you mentioned, it's undefeated against undefeated. Someone's going to be coming out with a loss. And I think everybody in the valley and everybody around here expected Barnesville to be undefeated. Now, I don't know if everybody expected us to be undefeated, except everybody in this locker room. These kids put a lot of work in throughout the summer, a lot of them lifting, a lot of linemen. So we kind of, that was one of their goals. That was one of their goals. So they've expected to win games. But like you said, this is a big one. And against easily the best team that we faced. You mentioned earlier that they're reeling off 50 points a game. Getting shutouts, 3 or 4 points average per game on defense. So, very strong team. They don't have many weaknesses. Their front line on both sides of the ball, big kids. Not much bigger than ours. We've got some big kids too, but they're big, strong kids. Offensively, they run it right at you. There's no messing around. They line up and just drive down the field. Their splits. Their linemen stand real close together, and they're just pushing you down the field. You mentioned the Tolliver boy. He runs with some anger. Like, that's the way he runs, at least to me. Like, he might not be mad, but he sure looks like he's mad when he's running. So we got to get hands on that kid. We've got to tackle him low, do a good job wrapping him up. No arm tackle is going to take that kid down. But, you know, and then defensively, they run just a 4-4, but they're 4 down linemen, they're 2 inside backers are their main kids on defense. What they want to do is they want to, you know, they kind of condense everything down. If you bounce it out, they've got enough speed where they'll catch it with their outside backers. And then their secondary kind of backs up. They don't let anything deep on them at all. Caldwell threw, I think, like 4 picks on them last week. So they fly to the ball, and Caldwell's got a pretty good quarterback. So they get to the ball pretty well. But no, it's going to be, I mean, I hope we line up and it's kind of like a slugfest, you know, taking, you know, blows back and forth. And I really do think we can kind of move the ball on them. I think we can slow them down. When I look at size for size, we're right there with them. We're right there with them. So, and it should be an exciting night. Like you mentioned, the crowd's going to be great. The atmosphere is going to be great. Something these kids probably have never seen. You know, even as young kids, they've probably never seen what kind of atmosphere and crowd they're going to see Friday night, tomorrow night. So, now I look for just a fun, hard-fought football game. You know what I mean? So I kind of like being the underdog. No one expects us to win. I can tell you that right now. Everything I'm seeing, you know, they're picking other people. So everybody but these kids in this locker room, they believe in that, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I'll not lie, Coach. You know, a couple months ago, I'm scrolling down through the schedule, and, you know, I got the Caldwell and thought, they got a lot of experience, you know, give that a question mark, and then, you know, of course, this one here, tomorrow night, is another question mark, and we handle Caldwell with no problem whatsoever. So, you know, I'm sure these kids are going to be ready, and I'm kind of biased to the 90s because that's when you and I played, but I'm really excited for the kids in this locker room to see what they're going to see out here tomorrow night, because this place, they've never seen anything like this before, ever.
Yep.
It's going to be packed.
It is.
It is going to be packed. I know, you know, we've got some extra people parking, and you know, my brother called, and they've got some extra security in just because there's going to be so many people here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and keep everybody under control.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, like I said, and we're both 7-0. You know, it's a battle of the unbeaten. It's going to be one for the ages, and like I said, I'm just so happy for these kids that they've made it to this point.
Yes.
And they're going to get to witness that tomorrow, and how great would it be to walk in here tomorrow night with a victory.
It sure would.
Be awesome, Coach.
Yep.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this week's episode and talk about some game information into next week. Welcome back, everyone. One last reminder, Coach and I were just talking, this place will be absolutely packed tomorrow night, I can promise you that. So if you came to the previous home games at 6 o'clock, I'd probably push that up at least 30 minutes.
I would too.
At least 30 minutes.
I would too.
So tomorrow night is also senior night. There'll be 13 Monroe Central seniors that will be honored, them and their parents. That'll take place tomorrow night as well. And of course, all the tickets will be on sale at both gates for $6. There'll be 50-50 tickets on sale at both gates. The sideliners will be serving sausage sandwiches starting at 5 o'clock. The football moms, here they are again, Coach. Busy, busy, busy. They'll be selling programs. They'll also be selling apparel. And they'll also be selling game ball raffle tickets. And tomorrow night's game ball sponsor, final one of the season, is Woodsfield True Value. We want to thank all 5 sponsors of the game balls this year. Some key dates for the upcoming week. This week, the 5th and 6th grade game will be at River on Sunday, October 13th at 4 p.m. And that is the first round of tournaments already.
Yeah.
And I did hear 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th are doing excellent this year. So
They are.
everything's looking bright for the Knowles.
Yeah, junior high's doing great too.
Yeah, that's the next one. Junior high will be at Caldwell. Also having a great season. They'll play October 17th at 5:30. All right, Coach, that's just about a wrap, buddy. You got any final comments leading into tomorrow night's game?
Yeah, you know, like you said, I'm the battle of the unbeatens. You know, I love it. I love it. I can't wait for the atmosphere. I can't wait for the kids to see it because, you know, the reason it is going to be like that is because of the work that they've put into it. You know, the work all summer. You know, if we were 1-6 going into this, it's not going to feel like it's going to feel.
Yeah.
So these kids have put the work in it, and I look for a fun game, fun atmosphere, something that they've never seen, and I just can't wait for it to get started.
Yeah, like we've said a couple times, battle of the unbeatens.
That's
It's
right.
been what, since 2002?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I think 2002 since we've been 8-0. I believe you told me that team went undefeated.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and like I said, I personally, I have nothing in it, but I want to win tomorrow for the kids in this locker room.
100%.
They, you know, a lot of people don't understand it. That's why there's only 30-some kids here, Coach. I mean, how many boys are in the high school?
There's like 154 boys.
Yeah, so there's 30 special kids,
Yeah.
30 plus special kids in this field house, 5 days a week, and you know, they bust their tails. They just didn't start last week. You know, they've started in the summer, and a lot of them we've had in here. Raider, for example, lifted all year long. You know what I mean? Those kids put in the time, and they deserve it. They deserve tomorrow night's atmosphere, and they deserve to win. There's no doubt in my mind we can do that, Coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to thank everybody for watching. Please join us again next Thursday night at 9 p.m. We'll discuss and preview the game against the Frontier Cougars. We'll also discuss tomorrow night's win against Barnesville Shamrocks. Go Knowles!